This video is about Odin seeks wisdom from tree, but Raven Traitor strikes. If this myth excites you, please like the video, share it with friends, and write in the comments how it pulled you into the adventure. In the heart of Yggdrasil, the world tree, where the branches reach toward the heavens and the roots delved into the depths of the netherworld, whispers of ancient knowledge flowed like rivers through its bark. The gods of Asgard often gathered here, but on this fateful day, Odin, the All-Father, stood alone, consumed by a hunger for wisdom beyond mortal comprehension. In the twilight of an autumn afternoon, the sky is darkened with omens, and a chill wrapped around the tree like a shroud. Odin's one eye, the other long sacrificed for insight, scanned the horizon. His raven, Hugin, perched upon his shoulder, fluttered his feathers nervously. "Beware the traitor among us, father," he croaked, his voice heavy with the weight of secrets. Odin nodded, his heart a tempest of thoughts. "Wisdom is often cloaked in danger, Hugin. I seek the well of Mimir, and for that I must brave the shadows that lurk within." As he made his way toward the well, the ground trembled, responding to the divine energy that pulsed beneath it. The All-Father descended into the grove, where the well lay, its water shimmering with the promise of enlightenment. Yet a sense of foreboding thickened the air, a warning that echoed in the depths of his mind. Upon reaching the well, he knelt before its crystalline surface, the water reflecting his withered face, etched with the burdens of 1,000 battles. "Mimir, guardian of wisdom, I seek your counsel," he called, his voice resonating through the silent woods. "Grant me the knowledge to avert the calamities that shadow Asgard." The water rippled, and from its depths arose a figure clad in ancient armor, Mimir, with eyes that gleamed like stars trapped in a night sky. "Odin, All-Father, your thirst for wisdom is noted, but knowledge comes at a price, a sacrifice that weighs heavily." "I will pay any price," Odin declared fiercely, his resolve unwavering. "What must I offer?" Mimir's voice echoed with the gravity of ages. "One must sacrifice a part of oneself to gain true understanding. What do you cherish most?" Odin's heart ached. He loved his people, his son Thor, and the realms he ruled, but what he cherished most was the ability to see all, to wield knowledge as a weapon against fate itself. "I shall relinquish my remaining eye," he proclaimed, the weight of his choice settling like a stone upon his chest. A silence enveloped the grove, heavy and profound. Then, with a nod of acceptance, Mimir gestured toward the well. "Then let it be done." Odin lowered his head, steeling himself. With a swift motion, he extracted a shard of his spear, Gungnir, and pressed it against his eye. Lightning coursed through him, illuminating the shadows that danced at the edges of his vision. A piercing pain shot through him, and as he plucked the eye from its socket, he could feel the essence of wisdom seeping into his being. The well surged with energy as the light enveloped Odin, and visions of past and future unfurled before him in battles won and lost, gods felled by treachery, and a prophecy that spoke of a great frost and the twilight of the gods. The weight of this knowledge crashed over him like a tidal wave, but at the height of his enlightenment, betrayal struck. Hugin, ever watchful, caught a warning, but it was too late. From the shadows, a figure emerged, cloaked in the guise of night. Loki, the trickster god, his smile as sharp as the blade he wielded, stepped into the light. "Ah, Odin, how noble of you to sacrifice what little sight you have left for wisdom, but wisdom, like a fickle lover, can turn treacherous." Odin's heart sank, recognizing the familiar sting of betrayal. "Loki, what treachery do you scheme? You were once my brother in arms." "Brotherhood is a brittle bond, dear Odin," Loki replied, his eyes glinting with mischief. "In your quest for knowledge, you have left yourself vulnerable. Mimir's gift is but a whisper in the storm, and now you stand alone against fate." With a swift movement, Loki raised his dagger, the blade gleaming with malice. "I shall claim your newfound wisdom as my prize. All that you see shall belong to me, and with it I will rewrite the destinies of gods and men alike." Odin, fueled by rage and a fleeting sense of loss, straightened himself, defiant. "You dare challenge me, Loki. You have always sought chaos, but I will not allow you to unravel the threads of fate." With a roar, Odin summoned the powers of thunder and lightning, channeling the might of Asgard itself. The sky above erupted, roaring with the wrath of the All-Father. Loki, undeterred, leaped back, his laughter echoing in the chaos. "Such fury, but know this, chaos is my realm, and I thrive in the shadows of your light." The ground trembled as they clashed, Odin's spear clashing against Loki's dagger, sparks igniting the air. With each strike, the very fabric of reality quivered, caught in the divine struggle. Odin fought with honor, every blow a testament to his sacrifice, while Loki danced like smoke, twisting and turning with deceptive grace. As the battle raged, Odin glimpsed the whispers of knowledge swelling within him, a maelstrom of revelations that threatened to overwhelm. He could see the threads of fate, the intertwining destinies of gods and monsters. It was a vision of Ragnar, the twilight of the gods, and he understood that Loki held the power to hasten that dark day. With a surge of determination, Odin channeled the wisdom of Mimir, crafting a spell woven from the very essence of the cosmos. By the roots of Yggdrasil, I bind you, Loki, you shall not tear apart what has been woven. Loki, sensing the imminent threat, smirked. You think you can bind chaos, I am its essence, your chains will shatter like glass before my might. But Odin's resolve was unyielding. Then let chaos meet fate. With a final incantation, threads of shimmering light erupted from Odin's spear, ensnaring Loki in a lattice of ethereal energy. The trickster god howled, his laughter turning to rage as he struggled against the bindings. Fool, you think you can contain me? I will return, and you will regret this day. I will not fear your return, Loki, you know not the consequences of your treachery. Odin retorted, his voice booming, echoing among the trees. The bindings tightened, and with a roar of thunder, Loki vanished into the shadows, his laughter fading like a distant storm. Breathing heavily, Odin fell to his knees, the weight of the battle settling within him. He could feel the knowledge coursing through him, but it was now tainted with the knowledge of betrayal. Hugin landed beside him, concern etched in the raven's dark eyes. You faced the traitor, father, but the shadows are far from banished. He will seek to reclaim what you have taken, and his vengeance will be swift. I know, Hugin, Odin replied, his voice heavy with the weight of grief. But fear not, for I have glimpsed the threads of fate, and I will stand ready. This is not the end of our battle, it is but the beginning. As twilight descended, the All-Father rose, his resolve steeled. The path ahead was fraught with danger, but he would protect Asgard and his kin from the encroaching darkness. In the depths of his heart, he felt the stirrings of a great quest, a journey that would demand the strength of all gods, heroes, and warriors. Little did he know, as he turned to depart, the shadows were alive with whispers of betrayal. Loki's laughter, dark and haunting, echoed through the forest, a promise of the trials yet to come. And so, the tale of Odin's sacrifice and the treachery of Loki spun forth, weaving their destinies deeper into the fabric of myth and legend. As the last echoes of Loki's laughter faded into the night, Odin rose, determination etched on his withered face. The air crackled with the remnants of their confrontation, the weight of knowledge and betrayal bearing down on him like a storm cloud. He turned to Hugin, whose dark wings glimmered under the twilight. We must gather the Aesir, war is upon us. With a single flap of his wings, Hugin soared into the night sky, the sound of his feathers cutting through the air like an arrow. Odin followed, his heart beating with the pulse of impending battle, every step echoing the resolve of a warrior prepared to face his destiny. As he strode through the sacred halls of Asgard, Odin summoned the gods mighty Thor, fierce Freyja, and wise Frigg. Each answered the call, drawn by the urgency of the All-Father's voice. They assembled in the grand hall, their expressions a mix of concern and readiness. The flickering torchlight danced across their faces, casting shadows that mirrored the darkness looming beyond the gates of their realm. My kin, darkness stares beyond the horizon, Odin declared, his voice like thunder. Loki's betrayal is but the herald of a greater calamity. He seeks to unravel the very threads of fate. We must act swiftly. Freyja stepped forward, her golden hair shimmering like sunlight. What do we face, Odin? If Loki is at the helm of this storm, we may be beset by more than mere treachery, his chaos-breath monsters that lurk in shadows. Odin clenched his fists, feeling the weight of his sacrifice. We stand on the precipice of Ragnar, the twilight of the gods. If we fail to unite against Loki's machinations, our realms may fall into ruin. Thor, his hammer Mjolnir crackling with latent power, nodded. Then let us hunt down that serpent of chaos. I will not allow him to drown Asgard in despair. Together, we will shatter the darkness. Frigg, wise and serene, raised her hand, her voice soothing like a gentle breeze. We must not act in haste. My beloved, Loki is cunning, and his tricks may lead us into deeper peril. We must gather our forces and prepare. A murmur of assent rippled through the hall, the weight of her wisdom acknowledged. Odin glanced toward the great map of the realms, its surface shimmering with the light of countless stars. Then we shall split our forces. Thor will lead the warriors at Asgard to seek the counsel of the giants in Jotunheim. Freyja, you will rally the Valkyries and prepare our defenses. I will seek the Norns, for they weave the fates of men and gods. As the gods dispersed, Odin felt the burden of leadership settle heavily upon his shoulders. He strode toward the great gates of Asgard, a realm of golden towers and majestic archways, brimming with the essence of divine glory. Yet a shadow loomed, whispering of calamity. Father, do you truly believe we can withstand Loki's wrath? Hugin perched on his shoulder, his voice tinged with unease. We must believe, my loyal friend. To falter now would spell the end for all we hold dear. Odin replied, his voice steady, though uncertainty gnawed at the edges of his resolve. With a heavy heart, Odin traversed the Bifrost, the bridge of shimmering light leading to the realm of the Norns, the weavers of fate. As he stepped into their domain, he was enveloped by an otherworldly glow, the air thick with whispers of destiny. The Norns sat by the well of Erd, their hands moving deftly as they spun the threads of fate, a tapestry of countless lives intertwining. "Welcome, all Father," spoke Erd, her voice a haunting melody. "You seek wisdom, but understand that knowledge bears a heavy weight." "Indeed, Norns," Odin replied, kneeling before them. "Loki's treachery threatens the very fabric of all realms. Please reveal to me the path we must take to avert this calamity." Verdandi, the middle Norn, her gaze piercing as a blade, looked deep into Odin's soul. "Your sacrifice grants you sight of futures untold, but beware, for the choices ahead may lead to the unraveling of what you hold most dear. Tell me, what must I do?" Odin urged, his heart racing as he grappled with the gravity of her words. "Seek the roots of Yggdrasil," Skald, the youngest Norn, whispered. "Within the depths lies a power that can bind chaos, yet it will demand a price beyond your imagination." "I will pay any price," Odin declared, his voice imbued with fierce conviction. He felt the weight of the world upon him, the fates of gods and men teetering on the edge. The Norns shared a knowing glance, and Skald spoke again. "Then prepare for trials that will test your spirit. The path is fraught with shadows, and you will face the beasts that dwell within them." Within Norn's guidance, Odin ascended into the depths of Yggdrasil, his heart ablaze with purpose. He navigated the twisting roots, feeling the pulse of ancient power thrumming beneath him. The air grew thick with fog, and phantoms of forgotten warriors haunted the path, their eyes filled with sorrow and regret. Suddenly, a great roar echoed through the darkness, and a monstrous serpent slithered from the shadows, its scales glistening like obsidian. "Foolish god, you seek power, yet you trespass in the realm of the lost," it hissed, its eyes burning with malice. Odin stood firm, drawing upon the wisdom he had gained. "I am not here to take, but to bind. I know of your despair, creature. Do you wish to be free from this torment?" The serpent paused, its maw agape, revealing glistening fangs. "Freedom, what price must I pay for such a gift?" "A sacrifice of loyalty," Odin declared, his heart steady. "You will serve Asgard in the battles to come, and in return, I will grant you the chance to redeem your existence in the light." The serpent writhed, torn between desire and self-preservation. "I am bound to shadows, all Father, yet I see the strength in your resolve. Perhaps I shall learn to walk the path of honor." With a surge of energy, the serpent coiled around Odin, its scales burning against his skin, yet he felt a strange connection forming. Together, they forged a bond of mutual respect to the god and the beast, to both bearing the weight of their respective fates. As they emerged from the depths, a figure awaited them at the threshold, a Valkyrie, clad in silver armor, her eyes reflecting the stars. "Odin, the time is upon us, the forces of chaos gather, their shadows creeping upon Asgard. We must unite our strength. Then let us rally the warriors." Odin bellowed, his voice thundering like a storm. The serpent coiled beside him, a living testament to the bonds forged in the depths. "We will face this darkness together." In the days that followed, as the sun rose over Asgard, the warriors prepared for battle. The clang of swords and the roar of battle cries filled the air as the Aesir stood united, a beacon against the encroaching shadows. Yet, even in their fortitude, treachery lingered. Loki, having gathered his own forces, unleashed legions of monstrous beasts upon Asgard. Trolls, wolves, and creatures twisted by chaos surged forth, their eyes filled with rage. As the battle erupted, Odin led the charge, his spear Gungnir slicing through the air. Thunder roared above as Thor wielded Mjolnir, summoning storms that crashed upon their enemies. Freyja, fierce and unyielding, guided the Valkyries as they soared through the skies, their blades glinting like stars. But amidst the chaos, Odin sensed a familiar presence. Loki, cloaked in shadows, emerged from the fray, his laughter sharp and taunting. "Ah, dear Odin, how noble you are, but can valor withstand the tide of chaos? You will not break us, Loki?" Odin shouted, his voice resonating through the battlefield as he faced the trickster god. "The Sens Naf." With a swift movement, Loki conjured illusions, sending forth phantoms of Odin's past, echoes of his deepest fears. "Are you truly prepared to lose all that you hold dear?" Odin's heart trembled, but he remembered the sacrifices that brought him here. "I have sacrificed my very sight for wisdom. I will not falter before your mockery." With newfound strength, he unleashed the power of the bonds he had forged to the serpent coiled around Loki, its scales glistening with the essence of light. "You may thrive in shadows, but I command the light." The serpent constricted, pulling Loki into its embrace, yet he twisted, escaping with a sly grin. You may delay my plans, but chaos is patient. I will return, All-Father, and when I do, the very stars will tremble. As Loki vanished into the shadows, Odin felt the weight of their conflict settle upon him. The battle raged on, but the tide had shifted. Together, they had faced the darkness, and though the path. The clash of swords ran through the air as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a crimson glow over the battlefield. Odin surveyed the scene. Asgard stood on the brink of destruction, a realm once resplendent, now marred by chaos. Forces of Loki surged against his own, like twisted forms in a nightmarish vision of fury and despair. Amidst the maelstrom of battle, the air was thick with the scent of sweat and blood, the cries of warriors mingling with the howls of beasts. Odin's heart raced, emotions swirling like a tempest within him. The once unbreakable bonds of brotherhood felt strained, fraying at the edges as the shadows of betrayal clung to the air like smoke. Press on. Odin roared, the power of his voice weaving through the clash of weapons. He hurled his spear, Gungnir, into the throng of enemies, the weapon soaring with divine precision. It struck true, cleaving through a towering troll that had sought to crush a band of Asgardian warriors. The creature fell, its roar silenced, and Odin felt a surge of hope, a reminder of his purpose. Falaf. Thor shouted, his voice thunderous as he swung Mjolnir, the hammer crackling with energy. They come, more trolls and serpents, they will not relent. The sky erupted with storms as he called forth lightning, the bolts illuminating the battlefield and striking down enemies in blinding flashes. Rally the Valkyries, my son, we must not falter. Odin commanded, charging forward, his mind racing. In the depths of the chaos, he felt the presence of Loki, lurking like a shadow, ever watchful, ever plotting. Freyja soared above, her Valkyries following, their wings glinting like silver in the firelight. We will not yield, Odin, the spirits of the slain shall guide us. Her voice carried strength, instilling courage in every warrior who fought beneath her banner. The Valkyries dove into the fray, their swords flashing as they cut down the monstrous abominations conjured by Loki's treachery. Odin's heart swelled with pride, yet the gnawing fear of Loki's return gnawed at his mind. He knew this was merely the beginning, the battle would intensify. Just then, a familiar call echoed above him. Huge encircled overhead, his keen eyes scanning the battlefield. Father, the raven cried, alighting upon Odin's shoulder. Loki gathers strength, he waits for the opportune moment to strike. I feel it too, Hugin, we must remain vigilant. Odin replied, energy coursing through him as he prepared to confront the waves of enemies that continued to surge forth. As the sun dipped lower, the atmosphere thickened, the shadows deepened around them like creeping vines. In the heart of the chaos, a colossal beast, a serpent with scales that shimmered like obsidian, emerged from the depths of the battlefield, coiling menacingly around a group of warriors. Beware, Odin shouted. Its venomous bite can fell even the bravest of hearts. He charged forward, his spear raised, determined to stand against the creature. The serpent hissed, its forked tongue darting out, sensing the divine presence before it. Foolish god, it roared, the sound reverberating through the ground. You dare to challenge chaos? Odin stood firm, unwavering. You are not chaos, you are a servant of it. It is time to choose your path. With that, he held Gungnir, the spear striking the serpent's hide. The creature recoiled, veering back, and Odin saw a flicker of something in its eyes, a glimmer of fear, perhaps, or a yearning for honor. Your struggle is not against me, but against the bonds of your own making. Odin shouted, channeling the wisdom he had gained. Join us, fight for the light. But the serpent snarled, rage igniting its eyes. I will never serve the gods, my kind has been cast into shadow too long. With a swift motion, it lunged toward Odin, but he sidestepped, evading its fangs. Then you will perish as a slave to chaos. Odin proclaimed, channeling the power of Mjolnir's storm within him. Energy crackled through the air as he prepared to unleash a wave of divine fury. Suddenly, from the darkness, a figure emerged, a Loki, his laughter echoing like a death knell. Ah, Odin, how noble of you, but do you not see, this battle is already lost? He gestured grandly, and behind him, a legion of monstrous beasts charged forward, their eyes glowing with malevolence. Enough of your games, Loki. Odin bellowed, his spear shifting in his grasp. You will not claim victory today. As the armies collided, Odin felt the very fabric of reality trembling around him, the shadows of Loki's chaos threatening to unravel all that he held dear. To me, Asgard, he roared, rallying the Aesir and their warriors. We fight as one. The tide of battle surged, both sides clashing with raw fury. Odin, imbued with newfound strength, fought alongside Thor, their bond unbreakable even amidst the chaos. Traitor and the Valkyries struck like lightning, their blades cutting through the monstrous tide, a symphony of valor playing out before them. Yet even as they fought, Loki's taunts tinted the air. You think you can win, Odin. The shadows are relentless. They feed on your doubts. Each word pierced Odin's heart, but he steeled himself, drawing upon the wisdom gained from Mimir's well. This is not merely a battle of flesh, Loki. It is a battle of wills. I will not yield to fear. And as the serpent lunged again, Odin summoned the energies around him, channeling the very essence of Yggdrasil itself. By the roots of the world tree, I bind you, he cried, and with a surge of brilliant light, he ensnared the creature in a web of radiant energy. The serpent writhed, but Odin held firm, the power of the light overwhelming the darkness that had consumed it for so long. You may resist, but in the end, the light will always prevail. With a final roar, the serpent succumbed, its monstrous form shimmering and shifting until it stood beside Odin, transformed a creature of both strength and honor, now bound to fight for Asgard. Together, we shall forge a new path, Odin declared, the serpent nodding in agreement. He turned to the battle, sensing the tide turning as Loki's forces faltered, their confidence shaken. Nah, Odin shouted, rallying his warriors. Now we push them back into the shadows from whence they came. With Enjolnir crackling in the air, Thor swung his hammer, summoning a tempest that swept across the battlefield, scattering the remaining forces of Loki. Frigga led their Valkyries in a fierce charge, their battle cries echoing like thunder as they swooped down upon their enemies. But even in this moment of triumph, Odin knew Loki was not done. The trickster god was a master of deceit, and he would not allow the Asgardians to bask in victory for long. Prepare yourselves, Odin shouted, his heart pounding with urgency. Loki will launch one final strike. As the last remnants of the chaos faded, Loki appeared once more, his eyes alight with fury. You may have staved off the darkness today, but my return will be swift. I will unleash a curse upon Asgard that will destroy all you hold dear. I welcome your challenge, brother, Odin replied, standing resolute. But know this, as long as we stand united, your chaos will never prevail. The ground trembled as Loki summoned shadows, dark tendrils snaking forth, coiling around Odin and his warriors. But the serpent by his side flickered with energy, drawing upon the divine light that coursed through the land. We stand together, it roared, its voice a clarion call. With that rallying cry, Odin and his allies joined forces, the energies of the light and the honor forged in struggle intertwining. They surged against the shadows, shattering Loki's curse grip, and a brilliant light enveloped the battlefield. Loki let out a scream of rage, the shadows dissipating around him as he felt the power of unity and honor brushing against the edges of his deceitful heart. This is not over, Odin, not by a long shot, he bellowed as he was consumed by the light, vanishing into the depths of darkness. The battlefield fell silent, the echoes of chaos replaced by the soft sound of wind rustling through the trees. Odin stood among his warriors, the weight of the battle settling heavily upon him. The cost had been steep, yet they had prevailed. Let us honor those who fell today, Odin said solemnly, raising his spear. Their spirits will guide us as we forge a new dawn for Asgard. As they knelt in remembrance, a glimmer of hope sparked within Odin's heart. He had faced chaos and betrayal, yet he emerged stronger, bound not just by blood but by the indomitable spirit of unity. We will prepare, he vowed. As dawn broke over Asgard, its golden light crested the horizon, illuminating the glistening towers and vibrant halls. Yet the air was not filled with the usual sounds of life, rather, it echoed with the heavy silence of loss. Odin, the All-Father, stood atop the great steps of the Hall of Valhalla, looking out over the expanse of a realm scarred by chaos. The memories of the battle still burned vividly in his mind, the faces of those who had stood by him now forever entwined with the fabric of his heart. Father, came the soft voice of Frigg, his beloved wife, as she stepped beside him, her presence a balm against the tumult raging within. We have much to do, many lives were lost, but we must honor their sacrifice. Odin turned to her, his eye gleaming with untold grief and resolve. You speak true, my queen, but today our sorrow must be tempered with preparation. Loki will return, and we must stand ready. Frigg nodded, understanding the weight of their shared burden. They had witnessed the fury of betrayal, felt the abyss of despair, and in its wake, they had resolved to forge a path forward. Then we will gather the warriors, and we shall strengthen the bonds between our realms. The giants of Jotunheim will listen. As they descended into the hall, the echoes of their footsteps were swallowed by the heavy silence. The once bustling halls of Valhalla were now a somber reminder of the lives that had been lost in this struggle. Odin summoned the warriors, the bravest of the brave, who had fallen in the chaos, and those who stood resolute, ready to fight again. Thor, the god of thunder, entered with a determined stride, and Mjolnir slung over his shoulder. He carried the weight of their last battle etched across his brow, but his spirit burned bright. "Father," he bellowed, his voice a rallying cry, "let us not dwell in sorrow. We shall honor our fallen by preparing for the storm that approaches." "Soon, my son," Odin replied, his voice steady but heavy. "But we must first lay the groundwork for unity among our realms. We can no longer afford to be fragmented. The giants must be persuaded to join us. If Loki is to bring the frost giants upon us, we must forge a pact." Freyja stepped forward, her golden hair flowing like sunlight. "And I shall rally the Valkyries. They will carry the message to the spirits of the slain. They will be our messengers, and their honor will inspire the living." "Then it is settled," Odin said, his heart swelling with pride for his kin. "We will gather our allies. Together, we shall forge a coalition strong enough to withstand whatever Loki conjures forth from the shadows." With resolve igniting their spirits, Odin, Thor, and Freyja set off, leaving behind the somber halls of Valhalla. They traversed the Bifrost, the bridge of light that connected Asgard with the realms beyond. The echoes of Jotunheim. The air grew colder as they approached Jotunheim, the land of giants, a realm steeped in ancient magic and raw power. Massive mountains loomed overhead, their peaks shrouded in mist, while the ground trembled in the presence of the colossal beings who inhabited the realm. As they approached the giantess bastion, a shiver of apprehension rippled through Odin. "Stay vigilant," he warned his companions. "The giants are proud and fierce. They may see our plea as a sign of weakness." Thor gripped Mjolnir tightly. "Let them come, we will show them the might of Asgard." However, Freyja placed a calming hand on Thor's arm. "Let us not provoke them. Remember, we seek their alliance, not their enmity." As they reached the entrance to the giant citadel, a massive figure emerged, towering above them. It was Thrym, the king of frost giants, his icy blue skin glistening in the cold light. His eyes were like frozen shards, piercing and calculating. "What brings the Aesir to my domain?" Thrym's voice rumbled like thunder, echoing through the mountains. "Have you come to beg for mercy, or do you seek the warmth of my hospitality?" Odin stepped forward, unwavering. "Thrym, we come not as beggars, but as brothers. Loki seeks to unearth chaos more devastating than you can imagine. He gathers forces against us, and we need your strength to fight back." Thrym chuckled, the sound chilling Odin to his core. "A partnership? How quaint, and what would the likes of Asgard have to offer a king such as I?" "The honor of unity," Odin replied, his voice steady. "Together, we can shatter the chains of chaos that threaten to bind us all. We will stand against this darkness as one, or we will fall divided." Thrym narrowed his eyes, contemplating the proposition. "And if I refuse?" "Then you doom your people as well," Freyja interjected. "Chaos does not discriminate. It will consume all in its path. Your mountains and your kin will not escape Loki's wrath. He will unleash a storm that will freeze even the hearts of giants." The giant's expression shifted, a flicker of uncertainty crossing his features. "You speak truth, but loyalty is a currency best earned. What proof do you bring that your alliance is worth my kin's trust?" Odin stepped forward, resolute. "Let us demonstrate our strength. We shall duel, and if we defeat you, you will join us willingly. If we fall, you may do as you please." Thrym raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "A bold proposal. Very well, I accept, but should you fail, I will claim Asgard for my own. I will raise my army and let it rain chaos upon your world." "Then prepare yourself, Thrym," Odin declared, steel in his gaze. "For we shall not fail." The clash of titans. The ground shook as the two powerful beings faced off, the air charged with tension. Thor stood at the sidelines, his heart racing as he watched his father prepare to confront the giant. Thrym lunged forward, his massive form a blur of icy fury. Odin met him with unwavering resolve, channeling the divine energy that coursed through Yggdrasil. The air crackled around him as he summoned the power of the storm, his spear gleaming like a beacon. With a swift motion, Odin thrust Gungnir towards Thrym, launching it like a bolt of lightning. The spear struck true, embedding itself in the ground beside the giant, its energy pulsating like the heartbeat of the earth. Thrym roared, his voice tremoring the very mountains. "Is that the best you can do, All-Father?" He charged, the ground quaking beneath his feet. But Odin stood firm, channeling the wisdom he had gained in his quest. As Thrym swung a colossal fist, Odin deftly dodged, weaving through the storm of violence. He could feel the pulse of the world around him, the energy of the realms intertwining with his own. "You underestimate the strength of unity, giant." With a mighty leap, Odin unleashed a powerful wave of energy that surged toward Thrym, encasing him in a brilliant light. The giant staggered, momentarily blinded, but he quickly regained his footing and retaliated. Thrym charged again, his fists like boulders, but Odin had already anticipated the move. He twisted away, striking back with a flurry of blows, the air around them igniting with divine fury as Gungnir danced through the air. Odin could feel the power of the earth beneath him, guiding his movements, granting him speed and agility. "You're strong, O father, but strength alone cannot win this battle." Thrym growled, his breath frosty as he unleashed a torrent of cold air, freezing the ground around Odin. The world around them dimmed, shadowed by the giant's icy breath. But Odin summoned the warmth of the sun itself, illuminating the darkness with a shimmering light. The frost shattered around him, and with a battle cry, he surged forward. "Your strength is no match for the brilliance of unity." With a final thrust of Gungnir, Odin struck Thrym's heart, the energy coursing through the giant like a bolt of lightning. Thrym fell to his knees, shock etched across his face. In that moment, the frozen landscape shimmered, and the air buzzed with energy. **, the price of unity **. The giant looked up at Odin, a mixture of fear and respect in his eyes. "You have bested me, O father. Your strength is undeniable, and your unity is commendable. I will join you." Odin offered a hand, pulling Thrym to his feet. "Then let us fight side by side. Together, we will show Loki that even the mightiest of giants may choose honor over chaos." As they turned to face the horizon, a thunderous roar echoed through the realm, signaling the arrival of Loki's forces. The ground trembled as dark clouds gathered, swirling above like a vortex of malevolence. Odin's heart raced as he sensed the impending danger. "Prepare for battle," he shouted to his allies, his voice reverberating through the air. Thor raised Mjolnir high, lightning crackling at his fingertips, while Frey